where the word submission is a word that they've turned around and used just for us, yeah, they're able to hide under this notion, but they can't use it because it emasculates them. Why does submission not emasculate femininity? Why does it emasculate you but not us? Do you know what I mean? They just really want to push that notion because it's not submission. What you're talking about, if you're saying, is respect. That's what you want. So tell the truth. Don't say when women are saying, oh, we're both going to be equal. I mean, we both submit to each other. You don't need what you need. Just say respect.
No, you don't. That's why you don't even say it with them.
You don't. Just say you like. Why do you guys? What's the obsession with the word submit? What you're talking about is respect. Submission. They didn't mince their words when they say submission. They did it on purpose because they want you to submit and be their slave. Like, I know, I would submit to the right person. What do you mean submit? I wish I would.
That's all they want, for real.
No, they're looking for slaves.
Yeah.
Personal slaves. That shut the hell up and don't talk.
Right.
I swear, don't you say a word.
I just seen a post talking about, it was a lady talking about these women out here, they can't cook. They can't clean. I'm like, neither can these niggas. Like, so what we talking about?
Can't look after themselves, a blood clot towel. Embarrassing themselves. Brother, your age, you can't cook and clean. You're looking for someone to come and cook clean for you. What kind of rubbish is that?
That's what your mom was for. That's what childhood was for.
Sick thing. No one's doing that for you now. You should be self-sufficient. It's such a turn off that you can't be self-sufficient.
Right.
Pussy all. But so I wanted to talk about that. Like, what is this term emasculation? What do you mean by emasculation? And why is it not applied to women? Because if we wanted to talk about emasculation, first of all, we're the true ones who have been emasculated. Yeah. Because you stripped us from our masculinity and you said masculinity doesn't belong to us. When it does, you look at pussy holes. They make me sick. Yeah. Me too. But like, we're the ones stripped of it. And then on top of that, you also are trying to say that, and then on the other flip side as well, when you talk about femininity, what about this system allows us to flourish? We're effeminate, what do you call it? Effeminate, I don't know, what's the word? If you emasculated, what do you call it? Defeminized. You do that to us every fucking day when you hush our voices and tell us to shut up and we can't get the same pay, be quiet when men are talking. Like, you've completely stripped us of our humanities, and every small thing, you're emasculating. Yeah. What are you talking about? They're always projecting. Like,
they do. And they say it openly as well when they take away your femininity. They like to tell you, like, you ladies have too much masculine energy. You know, we're too loud. We need to quiet down. We need to just be dainty, be more submissive, just all of these things they want us to do. And it's like, you're telling us that we're in this masculine energy. And why are we in this masculine energy anyway? First of all, if you think that we're there, but if you think that we're there, why aren't you all doing the things that you need to be doing so that we don't have to be there? If that was your real argument point, but that's not the argument point. Like, they don't really care about us being able to rest in our femininity and like relax and put our feet up. They don't really care about that. They just want us to shut up and submit.
Right, period. And also, guys, so we're gonna this is a little different flex. We went straight into it. We were having a conversation and decided to just record it. Mm-hmm. Hello, ladies and some guys.
Hey.
Welcome to the Pow Women Podcast. I am your host, Taste of the Starseed, and of course, this is
Tori Jae.
I don't know, maybe you've probably heard us before. We are talking about the emasculation of men, right? Because we hear that a lot. Men like to say that they're emasculated. Right. And what does that term even mean? What is an emasculation? You use that term when you want to shut women up and silence us. You now say that you're emasculated. What does it mean to emasculate a man?
Right.
What does it mean? Because I don't know, like you heard us talking previously, women are the ones who are actually emasculated, if you want to think about it, because we have been completely men are stripped of their femininity, but women are completely stripped of their masculine energy. They make out like if a woman has masculine energy, then she is trying to be a man and she is not a woman, when really we all know that it's a balance of duality, both masculine and feminine energy. So if we want to talk about who's been truly emasculated, it's actually the women who are emasculated. You know what I mean? And like we said earlier, men only talk about emasculation when they want to force you to submit in a way that you don't want to submit, in a way that doesn't benefit you. You know what I mean? Like, you want to use the word, you say, oh, you want a woman to submit, right? But you can't tell a man to submit, because if you tell a man to submit, that's emasculating him. Right. Why is it not emasculating or defeminizing to tell a woman to submit? Why is it just me that it affects? Do you know what I mean? Like you separate that because you want to strip us of respect, basically. You know,
and because their version of femininity is like aligned with serving and being less than, like being inferior. So for them, it's like, yeah, you need to be the one submitting because I'm the one in power. I'm the one in control. I'm the head, the lead, and you're the servant.
I'm the head. And the thing is, it's so funny when they say, because they tell us, I'm the head and you're the neck. and then they tell us, you're behind me. You stand behind me, behind every good woman. Like they say such mad things. Yeah. But what's crazy is that we don't really think it's mad. We accept it very willingly. Like this whole conversation started because, like I said, I see a lot of women talking about, and I used to, in fact, I have a whole chapter in my book. You know, this is why I need to release another one, an updated version, where I talk about this issue and this notion of submission and what submission means. And I also, at that point in my life, I was at the stage where it was, you know, men just say that women should submit, but we should submit to each other, you know, the usual rhetoric. And obviously now I'm not of that school of thought at all now. I just believe that the word submission in itself was just created by the patriarchy to oppress women. You know, I don't think anybody should be submitting to each other. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a case of respect. Why not just use the term respect? But men refuse to use the word respect because respect is expected from them too. You can't say, he can't tell you that if you tell him you should respect me, oh, you're emasculating me. He won't say that to you. But if you say you should submit to me and you make submission a purely feminine thing that women should do. And now if you now say to the man, well, you submit to me too, because of the way they've tainted the word, it sounds foreign and it sounds, oh, you're emasculating me. You know what I mean? But why is it emasculating? You know? Like, what is the emasculation of men? What does it actually truly mean? We say that a lot. What does it mean? And they often say they feel emasculated when you as a woman are growing. You know, that's like literally hater-ass partners and hater-ass husbands and hater-ass men. Because it's when I'm either making a lot of money or I'm speaking up for myself or I'm taking charge and authority over myself because you want to control me. You want to control my money. You want to control what I do, how I dress, how I speak. And when you cannot control me, you say you feel emasculated. Why is your manhood based off of you oppressing me and how much I can be underneath you? So if I speak up and I live my life, then I'm taken away from your manhood. I'm going to call it manhood. I'm not going to call it masculinity because, again, I hate the fact that we keep assigning masculinity to just men in itself. Because truly, the ones who have truly been emasculated is us.
Right.
And in the most messed up ways as well, because then you now have so many women denying their masculine energy even.
Right.
We're not even, because we always say, oh, we don't, you know, men don't create a safe space for us to rest in our femininity, right? True. But we're not always supposed to just be resting in our femininity. We're dual beings. We can't just erase one side of us. Do you know what I mean? But a woman dare not talk. She's not allowed to even just rest in her masculine energy too, because you make her like masculine energy is just rigid, fierce, fire all the time. No, it's not.
Right.
Why can't she just rest in her masculine energy too?
Because that's the only version. That's the only version of femininity that they are comfortable with.
Right.
The weak, you know, damsel that can't think for herself.
The fairy tales.
Yeah. So it's like that's the only version of femininity that it seems like they are okay with us expressing. And we've talked about it before. You see that even in every industry in life. You see that growing up. You see that in sports and women in sports. Like you're just always policed on your behavior and how you're being. And I just find it interesting because it's like, think about their need to like control, that obsessive need to control. Like you just want to be, you feel so entitled over another human being that instead of meeting them and learning them who they are organically, like, oh, wow, this is your personality. This is who you are. You're a great balance of this, and you have your own mind and your own opinions. Instead, you're like, no, No, the only version, the only version of yourself that you can
Is
give me
valid.
is one that's quiet and listening to me. You know what I mean? Like you decide that that person being themselves is wrong. You know, that person being assertive and confident is wrong. It's
Right. Right.
it's really crazy
Yeah.
because the world like thinks is normal. Everybody thinks is normal.
Like honestly, because do you know, but this is the problem though. I think that we kind of underestimate. Like I was just reading something today, guys. I'm gonna post it on our page. About Mary Magdalene. That's going to be another episode. We should do that about the history, the one I sent you. But it just and it just shows you how deep the patriarchy goes to erase women, like, and to create this notion that we are meant to just be underneath their foot. And I don't know, what do they? We're incubators here to just give birth, cook, and clean. And now we're allowed to work now, but you work in the jobs in which we have told you that you can work in. You know, don't make too much money, don't really have much career aspirations. You know, yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
And it doesn't need to take away from your your duties at home.
To me, because I need you to be looking after me because I can't look after myself. You know, but Mary Magdalene actually, and again, because whenever we talk about Yeshua, people talk about him, you know, and there's this notion, I don't even really want to go into the religion side of it, but I'll just do a brief breakdown. Well, you know, but you know, when we talk about Yeshua, we talk about him. Some religions like to talk about him like he's a god. But like I see him as an ancestor. We are direct bloodlines from him. He's just an ancestor, like the rest of us were like the rest of our ancestors. And as far as I'm concerned, he was just an enlightened ancestor. Do you know what I mean? If you check out the number 33, you know how powerful the number 33, and you understand why is he died at 33 and all the different things that he did, that shows you that really and truly he was just on his journey of enlightenment. And a lot of the stories that they've told us about him are just clearly, they're just not true. They're falsified. And they've done it in a way to make it like it's unattainable to be like him, and every single one of us is like him. He just woke up just like, and obviously most of us wake up around that age anyway. 33 is the age when you kind of, you know, go through a different kind of spiritual awakening. But I was reading about Mary Magdalene, and you know, if you read the Bible, you know that Mary Magdalene is the one they called a prostitute. They said she was a prostitute, and I think she's the one who washed his feet on Good Friday. I'll never forget that act, because of course, what a submissive act. Bruh, seriously, whenever I think of the mad things that they say, it's just so like so there's a story of the woman who washes Jesus's feet, and then she cleans it with her hair. That's Mary Magdalene. And people would always say that she was a prostitute, right? That's what the Bible has said. But the video that we watched on TikTok the other day was talking about the history of Mary Magdalene and how, in fact, she was actually Yeshua's first disciple, which would make sense. You know what I mean? Because oftentimes, whenever you see people who are kind of on their journey, it's the woman that supports them and sees the light before anybody else sees it every single time.
Always.
Like, so Mary Magdalene apparently was his really good friend, and she was actually his first disciple. And she even apparently, because she came from a wealthy family and she was kind of just outspoken and did what she liked, she even apparently helped him, sponsored some of his earlier missions, which would make sense. Like, I guess maybe things like, I don't know, food, transport, just helping like when you're on that journey and you don't have. So I'm like, look how far. And apparently the Catholic Church even admitted, when was it? I'll post the video on our page, but the Catholic Church actually admitted in so-and-so century that they had got it completely wrong about Mary Magdalene, and that she was actually a prolific person in his life and a positive person, and she actually wasn't a prostitute. But of course, they're not going to change that notion because, they're not going to show that Jesus, his first disciple, was a woman. I want a woman. In fact, I wonder how many other women they've cut out of his story completely, even.
Yeah.
Like, that's completely
crazy.
Cut out. Yeah.
Imagine something like people dedicate powerful their lives to, you know, their gods and their beliefs and their religion. And it's like, imagine getting that wrong. Right. Intentionally, I'm sure. And then absolutely, definitely intentionally. And then like deciding like, okay, we made a mistake, but hey, everybody, you know, we don't need to go back and make no corrections. The story is fine the way it is. We called her a prostitute. Maybe she wasn't, but
You know what I mean? Maybe she was one of his good
What
friends.
else was she doing? She's a woman. What else are y'all good for? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy the things that they do.
Oh my God, man. Like, seriously. But anyway, so the whole point is like the way we kind of use language as well.
Mhm.
Language is a tool of oppression for women, you know, so we should really just be paying attention to the things that we are saying. And really just don't just accept everything that they say to you. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like you should always think about yourself first. That's why my brain tends to do things like this when you talk about emasculation. I'm like, wait,
Right.
me, am I not
How?
emasculated?
Right.
Every small thing, emasculation. You emasculate us every day. You or
Right.
defeminize us every single day.
Every day.
Every time she tries to speak, you tell her, shut up. Like, that is literally you gagging her. You're
Yeah.
taking away. Because what does emasculation mean? I'm going to Google it. Because to me, when I think about emasculation, just off the top of my head, it's more just like, okay, you talk about the stripping of the masculinity, but to me, it's disrespect.
Yeah.
That's what emasculation means. It's when
Because
you
the
feel
way in
disrespected.
which a lot of them mean it, it's like, can't nobody take something from you that is you.
Right.
There's nothing nobody could say or do and take away from you. It's just this narrative that they like to push to waste time because they have nothing else to do but to waste time. Like, you just want to have a conversation about argument. We're over here crying for our lives, like we're dying. You know, we out here getting murdered, attacked, like, and they're like, well, y'all taking our masculinity
I don't like your tone.
away.
Your tone. No, your tone made me feel emasculated.
Right, girl.
You're having a conversation to tell you your tone right now. I don't like your tone because I'm making a valid point. My points are valid and solid. So the only thing you're going to tell me is, I don't like your tone. Your tone is making me feel emasculated, which obviously translates to is making me feel disrespected.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But why you telling me to shut my mouth is you disrespecting me. You feeling attacked or your ego feeling squashed because I am speaking up is you already emasculating me as far as I'm concerned in the term, like disrespecting me, but it's okay for me. The disrespect is good for me, but what's good for the goose is not good for the gander.
Right.
Like, no, I'm sick of that. Like, and then I tell us about equity, right? Sorry, water. You talk about equity, right? And I love it. They talk about, you know, and equity is not like equality because it's like making sure that everybody has, it's not giving everybody the same chances. It's making sure that people have the chances that are suitable for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've seen, how can I describe it? I think we've seen a few, there's a meme I saw that described it well. For example, you see people trying to look over a fence and they're all different heights and different sizes. So you can't give them all the same ladder. If you give them all the same stool, some will benefit and some won't benefit because someone is a different size. So you have to make sure that it's catered to each person. That's equity. So they like to say that about women, that women and men are not equal. It's equity. Again, you're using that to just tell us that we cannot have the things that we're saying that we want.
Right.
Just give me what I've said I want, because I'm honestly, I'm capable of making my own decisions. I don't need you to make it for me. That is really the bottom line.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying. Like, just let me be free. I can make my own decisions. Let me do it. I don't need you.
That's a problem when you're dealing with insecure beings. Like, you can't be free around insecure beings because in order for them to feel special or powerful, somebody else has to be beneath them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so that issue has to be solved first. Like, they need to do some crazy shadow work like the world does.
Bruh. Yeah, if you're like on that mindset, like, let's, you know, talk, you know, or like more so those that are just not sure where to go and they want a feminine perspective of female, should I say, a woman's point of view. Like, because I find that a lot of them have been so been programmed in such a messed up way, they don't even know that their reasons are messed up. They don't know, and they don't know where to go. So, and oftentimes as well, they don't even really want to listen to their fellow man when they find that they're the ones who are perpetuating the patriarchal system that they don't even want to be a part of. So I think it's important to kind of, it's not our duty to open up that dialogue, but it's nice to open up the dialogue. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this so-called emasculation, what does emasculation mean? Just ask yourself. It's often disrespect, and it's never ever said in a time where I don't think it's ever what's the word? Valid.
Right.
I think there is no instance that a man will say that he feels emasculated that is valid. I think the word even emasculation is just bullshit. And it's a word that the patriarchy has created to force women to submit to them and to continue to further gag us, because the only time a man feels emasculated is when you are asserting yourself as I won't even say as a woman, I would say as a human being. He now says, I feel emasculated. You know what I mean?
Right.
So don't let them use that word to strip you of your voice, for God's sake. You know what I'm saying? Let them feel emasculated. I feel emasculated. In fact, as soon as it says that, you should run. It's a red flag. What do you mean you feel emasculated? What about me living my life is emasculated?
You're not secure in your masculinity. You're not secure in yourself.
It's me that's messing you up. Me.
Yeah.
It's like me like making money, or me speaking about an issue and having a different opinion to you is what is really? You'll feel good when I'm down. Wow. It's not gonna work for me.
No, girl, no.
Oh God. But yeah, so yeah, let's just revisit, these notions that we tend to perpetuate and push and carry on champion on our heads, because the goal is to reclaim back our power.
Right.
So this is why we have these sort of conversations, just to get you thinking a bit deeper from a different perspective. So, I mean, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I mean, was this a long episode? Did you guys, is this quite short?
Yeah.
So, are you missing us?
Yeah.
But sometimes we just do that. We just want to hop on and have a quick conversation with you guys about what we've been discussing. So I guess this is one of those episodes, and we hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, man. And we definitely got some things coming up. Some new things coming up. So stay tuned. But ladies, seriously though, like, ignore that nonsense. Like, every time you hear this coach or this life speaker over here talking about like these different people like out of the woodworks explaining to women how to be women and how not to make men feel like they're not men, like, just turn that shit off. Like, just ignore it. You know what I mean? Like, and there's so many women that I know that are struggling with where they are because of where we're told we should be as women, the typical married with kids and, doing X, Y, and Z. Like, there are so many women that struggle with their own happiness because society has said, hey, like, if you don't have these things, you're less than. And now you have these things popping up out of the woodworks, like I said, like, and just putting more limitations on us. Like, no, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And then it's like every time you turn around, you're questioning yourself, everything about yourself. Like, well, I am a little bit assertive. And it's like, and what's wrong with that?
Yeah, exactly.
What is wrong with that? You know what I mean? Like, you can't do anything these days.
I mean, is it not a skill that's needed for life? Is it not good to be assertive in life?
Isn't it crazy?
You know what I mean? So now you're in a relationship, you have to lose your life survival skills, or just your life, your social interaction skills, or your common sense skills.
Right. You have to shrink yourself for him to feel comfortable. That's something you definitely want to run away from. You know what I mean? Like, and just learn to truly be happy with yourself, because man, trying to live up to these expectations will drive you crazy.
It will drive you crazy, man. Just live your life, man. Just bask in your authenticity, man, because listen, that is your superpower. This is what you're doing here, to be unique, like, and just be you. So you have to discover that. You're not going to discover that if you're constantly shrinking yourself for one man,
Right.
Like, whoever is meant for you, if someone is meant for you, is not meant for you by you shrinking yourself.
Right.
Or you're not being yourself. Like, so how is that? That's no way to live life,
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was nice and sweet.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, as always, thank you for tuning in. And some guys, I always forget to
Some
say
guys,
you
yeah.
guys. Thank you for tuning in. You can catch us here next week, same time, same place. You can follow us at the Pow Podcast online, and we will see you later.
See you later, guys. Bye.